Welcome, viewers, to another edition of the Talk with AVC. I am your host, AVC, and I don't know why the microphone is coming outside of my face. There we go. All right, so we are starting off today with our AA segment with our producer, Danny. Danny, how you doing?
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we are getting to the nitty-gritty. We are almost there.
There's a few weeks left.
And obviously, we've got some interesting things that have been going on. So let's start with how about our play-in team contenders? What are we thinking? Yeah, let's start with the East. You got teams like Chicago, Washington, all kind of vying for that play-in spot.
Yeah, but even Miami's like starting to do that, get down there too. Boston's kind of there as well.
I think right now it would be Miami, Charlotte, and the play-in teams would be Indiana and Washington.
Gotcha. I think Washington got hot at the right time. So indeed. I feel like if Washington gets into the play-in tournament, they will end up getting a 7 or 8 seed out of it.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Westbrook's playing out of his mind.
And Bradley Beal dropping 40 pieces every once in a while.
Of course.
Also pretty helps a lot.
I think they'll get actually stomped come actual playoff time. But
they'll get in.
Yeah, I can see it. So who's the odd man out, do you think, out of the teams that are already...
I don't want to say Miami, but I'd say probably Charlotte and Indiana. Indiana for sure. I don't see Indiana going too far.
Charlotte if they don't get LaMelo back in time, or he's not 100%.
Yeah, even with LaMelo, I just don't know. I again, because the Heat are just so inconsistent. Indeed. It's just so infuriating to watch. And so like they're a wild card because like the thing is the fact like that they got to the finals last year literally makes them like it's just so hard to gauge for them.
Exactly.
Like they could. There's a very good possibility they in fact just don't make it and they just lose in the play-in tournament. And then there's also that off chance that they get to like the conference finals somehow. So
yeah, they're very high ceiling, low floor team.
They can
go as far as the conference finals, or probably as low as
not making it. Yeah, so I'd say though Charlotte doesn't get in though if I had to pick.
All right, that's fair. In the West, though, we've got. I'm sorry. 1 second. There we go. Portland and Memphis are the 7-8, and then the 9-10 are San Antonio and Golden State.
Well, Curry, you don't want to mess with Curry. That's Curry can give you 50 any night he wants. Portland, I think, has lost 5 in a row, so they're getting cold at the wrong time. I don't think San Antonio gets in. It's hard to doubt Pop, but
I was about to say you can never count out a well-coached team.
You can never count out Popovich. And I mean Golden State, that's just Curry. Yeah, they'll go as far as Curry wants them to.
So what about Memphis?
I think Memphis ultimately gets in. I think they're good. I think they're good enough. John Morant's having a really good second season. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is also back.
So, he is indeed back, yes.
I believe Memphis gets in. I think this is their time to get in.
Speaking of Ja, has his second season kind of flown under the radar? Have people kind of just forgotten about Ja Morant? Because I haven't seen one thing about Ja in forever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the downside of playing in Memphis. No offense to any Grizzly fan watching this.
Yeah, are there any? I've never met a Grizzly
fan. Yeah, exactly. I haven't either. So, but I'd say it's a combination of, I guess, everything becoming centered around the other young point guard in this draft class, but LaMelo Ball.
Yes.
For obviously for deserving reasons, he's playing. He's having a very good. He had a very good rookie season before he got hurt. I would also say that I guess Zion's having a phenomenal second season. So that kind of like the media is like going towards.
Yet the interesting thing is Zion's phenomenal second season.
It's also underrated. Also under the radar.
And it hasn't really helped the Pelicans win very much.
That's also true.
What is wrong with the Pelicans? Like, what are we looking at here? This was a team that everybody thought coming into the year was a fringe playoff team, and now they're looking at another lottery pick.
I just don't. I feel like a lot of people, myself included, had them jumping up too quick. I guess they just weren't there yet. I mean they're gonna lose Lonzo this offseason. I think everyone knows that. I think Lonzo's gone.
I'm assuming so, yeah. And I'd assume he is an RFA, but I'd assume they're
They'll
probably going to work out a sign and trade of some sort.
Yeah, probably. And if not, they might even just let him walk. Honestly, I mean I just don't. The way they're utilizing him, to my knowledge, I haven't watched many Pelicans games, but the way they're utilizing him, to my knowledge, is that they're not letting him be the primary ball handler, which isn't really good for Lonzo Ball.
The whole Lonzo Bledsoe thing doesn't work.
That's true. That is true.
So one of them's got to go. I mean, maybe there's a scenario where the Pelicans actually end up keeping Lonzo because they can pay him more than anybody else can, and they ship off Bledsoe to somebody.
It comes down to what they're not going to be the first ones to offer him a contract. I think it'll come down to what he accepts and what like other teams offer him. Like if he's not getting anything, then they'll probably just bring him back for something cheap.
Yeah,
I mean, he'll get good offers.
He will, but the question is, as an RFA, will the Pelicans match? That's just the question.
Yes. I also don't like Stan Van Gundy as a coach. I mean, Grant.
I think he's outdated. I don't think he can coach in the modern game anymore. That
was the problem, and that's the problem in Detroit.
Yeah, I like Stan, but I think he's out of touch.
I do too.
I don't think he. I mean, if he could have recaptured that Orlando magic that he had when Dwight was there, and kind of just went with the whole 1 in 4 out approach that he did with Dwight with Zion, I think that would have been really interesting. But
yeah. Well, now they're trying to make Zion a point guard now, allegedly. I mean, he can handle the.
Let's be honest. Is there anything the kid can't do?
Yeah, exactly. But I wouldn't want. I mean, as a primary point guard, like, I mean, you got Lonzo. I'd rather have Lonzo handling the rock.
Now, here's the interesting question, because I've been getting this question a lot from my Knicks fan friends. What do they do this offseason? Now, for this scenario, we are assuming that the Knicks either lose first round or lose second round of the playoffs. Probably doesn't change much either way. Going into the offseason, what do they do?
Oh, if they're asking, do they go all in for Karl-Anthony Towns? I don't think so.
I think we're a year away from the whole cat trade thing.
I mean, I'd say first. I'd say the top. I think D Rose free agent, right?
D Rose is a free agent.
I would try. I'd say either retain D Rose or find like a veteran point guard, like a veteran player like D Rose or something like that to like kind of.
Do you make the move for a Kyle Lowry or a Mike Conley, assuming they're there?
It depends what they want to do. I mean, I think it'll be hard to pry Kyle Lowry. I feel like Kyle Lowry would want to go to a championship contender.
I mean, a competent-looking Knicks team, if you add, it could be appealing to a veteran player.
It could
be. The thing is, the Knicks have so much cap space this offseason that they can overpay guys like veterans to come if that's what they want to do.
They can.
The guy I'm actually looking at for them is DeMar DeRozan, who, yeah, you could argue maybe the shooting isn't quite where you'd want it to be with a guy like DeMar, like at least up from the three-point arc, but he's developed so much as a playmaker this year that I feel like he could almost fill out like a point forward role for the Knicks, and that would allow you to move RJ to the 2 where he's probably better suited long-term anyway, and kind of just roll with that. And maybe quickly he's ready to become the starting 1. I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. Maybe another year of D Rose on a 1-year deal or something could work. But that's where my mind is at with that.
I would say it's always hard when a team like overperforms. It's always hard to gauge that. I mean, let's be honest. They did. No one saw this coming. Yeah. I mean, they did. I mean, if it wasn't for Chris Paul making 3 crazy shots in a row yesterday,
that would have been.
That's 10 in a. That's 10 wins in a row.
Yeah, I was amazed they lost that game.
That was nuts. I'm still not over the second shot. He just literally just flung it up and it just nailed it. But it's hard to gauge a team like the Knicks because they're so young and they're all buying into the system, which is awesome. We all seeing young teams play hard and buying in.
Yeah, you just wonder how sustainable
it is. Like it's hard. There's 2 ways that this could go. It's either one, they say, okay, look what we've done this year. Let's just keep building on it. Or 2, they just it kind of like the Timberwolves, for example, they just kind of falls apart.
Yeah, I mean with Thibodeau, it can always kind of be a little bit of a short high, and then you crash and burn a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'm not really sure which direction they're going to go. For their sake, I hope they keep this up, but I think they need to add someone for this to work. Whether it's by a free agency or via trade, they need to add somebody. Obviously, if a Beal or somebody like that is available, go get him. Even or Karl Anthony Towns, I guess. Karl Anthony Towns didn't really like Tibbs when he was in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's
I feel like that wouldn't really work.
That wouldn't work, and I don't know how much they'd ask for either. Because I'm pretty sure
they'd ask for a lot because he's still at least got another year.
He's like 25. He's got a couple years left on his deal. I'm pretty or something like that.
Yeah.
So it'd be hard to it'd be a big offer. Same with Bradley Beal too, because Bradley Beal he wants to stay.
Bradley Beal would become an expiring this offseason, basically. Like he'd have a 1-year deal starting this offseason. So if the Wizards are that willing to move him, but now that they've tasted the play-in tournament, they probably won't. The other interesting thing is maybe a more low-key move, maybe eating some bad, or since you have all this cap space, eating some bad 1-year contracts or something like that for draft picks, for example. With the Pelicans, will the Pelicans maybe give you a pick or something to take on Bledsoe?
I mean, I feel like Bledsoe would not work there. I mean, I've always loved Eric Bledsoe, but I can see that this year kind of tells me why that it's not.
I think in a system like New York where he's playing with a team where he'd end up being a primary ball handler again, that could work. Honestly, I could see it.
I mean, it could, but I also feel like there's the chance that it stunts the development of an Emmanuel Quickley or RJ Barrett of some sort.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, the thing with Barrett is he's not much of a ball handler, to be honest. He's more of a spot-up guy. He's more of an off-the-ball type shooter or scorer, which is kind of nice. Quickly you develop as the next Lou Williams. I think you just develop him as your sixth man. And I think that's the perfect spot for him. Then you got to do something on the wing.
You need a three. I don't even know who's running the three for the Knicks at this point.
Right now it's RJ.
They're running
RJ
small.
And Burks is running the two.
Yeah, I mean that's tough that is tough because I mean you think about Mitchell Robinson's coming back too.
Mitchell's coming back. He's on an expiring deal. Then at that point, he'll have a team option, but then he's an RFA. Nerlens Noel's had a pretty good campaign. He's an expiring though. Do you bring him back?
I guess I feel like you got to
cash out.
I think you bring him back. I think you try to bring him back.
That's the other thing I'm against the whole Cat thing is the whole Cat thing. Cat doesn't really fit the type of center that the Knicks seem to want. They want that.
They want someone they want defense.
Protector.
Yeah, they want defense.
Yeah.
I would. What's Carmelo's contract looking like? I feel like that'd be interesting.
He ain't going back to that. He ain't going back to that. After that whole experience, he's not coming back. Although that would work, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
It's just a weird situation. I mean, ideally, you'd want to add something like a 3-and-D wing,
like a good veteran. Yeah.
Point, but
you need some good veteran presence, more of it.
I mean, maybe they get lucky and Dallas falls into the play-in tournament, loses, and that becomes a lottery pick for the Knicks. So
that could work.
I just don't know. Do you package some of the picks in Toppin and move up in the draft to try to acquire somebody I don't know. I don't even know if you could move up into the top three. I feel like these top three are so good that nobody's going to want to move out of those spots.
Yeah. Especially top three, especially maybe get to where would they be in that? I guess moving to the top 8 would be something interesting to do. But
do you stay back at 14th and draft say a Corey Kispert or something?
Maybe. I mean, the guy that I'm high on the draft, even though he has no business on the Knicks, is Davion Mitchell. He has no business on the Knicks because they got guards already. But
I mean, they could use another guard. I mean, I don't think that point guard position is locked up with quickly. I just don't know if he's ready to be a full-time NBA point guard, but I don't think they'll draft a guy. I think they would sign a guy.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Oh, they also got to get rid of Peyton. He's terrible.
Oh
Peyton,
my God, the bane of Knicks fans everywhere. I don't know why that guy's on the team.
Yeah, they got to get rid of him.
I don't know what value he provides. I don't know why Tibbs likes him so much, but he needs to go. He's so bad.
He's not good. How much longer is he under contract for?
He's an expiring.
Okay,
God.
so yeah, he's
thank
gone.
God for the Knicks. He's an expiring.
Yeah, he's gone. He will not be a Knick next year.
But it's interesting. The Knicks could be incredibly aggressive or incredibly passive this offseason.
They got a lot of options.
They do. It's weird. You have a team where you have this many options on. Ooh, we could go this way. We could go this way. We could go this way. Which path do we want to take?
Yeah, usually it's just kind of tank.
I'm about to say, normally with the Knicks, you'd assume they're going to take the wrong one. No matter how this ends up, they're going to mess this up somehow. But I'm choosing to be more optimistic this year. That was my New Year's resolution. So I think they'll take the right one.
I mean, this is the year one of the new regime, correct?
In full, yes, correct.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be optimistic too. I mean, they just finished off a 9-game win streak, and they only lost to the
second seed in the West.
They lost to the second seed in the West, who could probably end up taking over the 1 seed if they wanted to, and they're like the 4 seed right now, right?
Correct. Yes.
I mean, it's the best season they've had since 12-13, no question.
Yeah, and the other thing is you're in an incredibly weak Eastern Conference, an incredibly top-heavy Eastern Conference.
Yeah, so if you hold on to the 4 or 5, if you hold on to the 4 seed, or even just stay at 5,
yeah,
they could beat Atlanta.
They could beat Atlanta. They could beat Boston.
I think
Miami would match up. I don't think they'd match up well with Miami, but I think they could.
No, they could beat the Heat, especially with how inconsistent they've been this year. They could definitely beat the Heat.
But it'd be interesting.
It would be.
All right, that's going to do it for our NBA segment here on the Talk with AVC. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back in a second with our NFL segment, which you don't want to miss because the draft is this Thursday. So please tune into that one. Danny, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It was always a pleasure.
And I will see you all in the next segment.